I could have done without seeing so many middle-aged naked people, but when they're stuck together like Laffy Taffy and I can't actually see like any bits, that's okay with me.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of A Ghost in the Magazine. I'm Steph.
And I'm Elle.
And okay, so this movie is called Society from 1989. And I have to say something before either of you start talking about the movie. I just need you to know it wasn't me who recommended it, Sadie. I did not recommend this movie. Here's what happened. Here's what happened, okay? Months ago, I'm in this horror group, okay, on Facebook. And months ago, someone asked for Rex for their favorite cosmic horror movies. And I said, I'm gonna write all of these down in a list. And the list has just been chilling there. So I had never seen this movie before, okay? It just got picked. And what's a girl to do?
Cry. I'm not blaming you. I just need to know
Okay.
who in that group was like, yeah, totally watch this because we need to have a conversation about what the fuck that was about.
I wish I had saved it, okay? Because um my recommendation was what was that movie that we watched that was like surprise, it's cosmic horror and it had the reanimator guy in it?
Oh, from Beyond.
Yeah, and we were like, oh my God, that was awesome.
And like the producer or the director of this was involved in that and Reanimator. But this was not a banger. This was not. My thing about it is like the stuff behind Steph, the goopy shit, I can even deal with that. I
I
didn't
love
like it, but don't bore me for the first three-fourths of the movie before you do that because at that point I'm mad. I was bored as fuck.
I was so
it.
bored, but I was also disgusted because I was like, I'm just gonna like watch this movie and eat dinner, and literally the first scene is this man biting into a disgusting apple, and I was like, okay, well now I don't want my fucking McNuggets anymore because like, what am I supposed to do with it?
I was I was eating too, but like here's where they get you, okay? Immediately in like the opening credits scene, they're showing
Yeah.
this. We don't know yet though that it's a violently slimy orgy. We don't know that yet. It's
Violently
like,
slow.
brother, eh.
Oh,
I just want to know
brother.
who the lube import was for this movie because it's clearly had to be that severe. Like, there's no way. I don't know. I think the tone was just uncomfortable in general because, like, you get to this family in the beginning, and then, like, something's off, obviously, with the mom and the sister and the dad, but it's also like, is the brother trying to bang his own sister too? Like, what is this entirely incestual vibe going on? Like, this whole movie.
Hey, I okay, maybe I think the guy was real stupid. Um,
I don't
very
know. It's giving Folgers commercial. Like something's a little weird here.
he's very generic, and I feel like the dynamics were very confusing
Yeah.
because he seems popular. He's dating this cheerleader girl, but yet he can't get invited to Ted Ferguson's party. And I'm like, well, now I know it's because they were all not aliens, but like that didn't make any sense to me. Why is he having to beg to get into this party? Why is he not auto invited? They're all the same.
I wasn't expecting any part of this movie and just it got worse. It just kept getting worse. And I was just like, at what point do I tap out? And I was like, nah, I got to see it through, my guy. Like I'm already in it. But like this is so ridiculous.
Just
And
for the podcast.
yeah, it
Yeah.
just lost me because they just played on the ambiguity of what was going on already. And then like they kept doing that. And it's like clearly you're gaslighting this boy, but like to what fucking extent? And it's just
I
like
think
I don't
that's great. I do. I think I feel like it's a really good tactic if you had cut the boring parts way shorter. Because like we already know something's weird, or this boy is having a mental episode. Or
right.
we already know, like we've seen her skin bubbling. We saw the titty sister, like or the sister's titties on backwards.
Sis-
You know what I mean? Like all
Or
that.
just opening the shower while she's like in the shower, just standing there.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, if it had been my sibling, I would have opened the fucking door too.
Yeah.
Sorry, I would have opened the door and been like, okay, I was just making sure that your titties were in the right place because
Because something's off here.
something is off, you know? And that's like real sibling. They didn't seem like a real family, except in the beginning where he's like, fighting the guy for hiding in her closet, which like rightfully so, because what are you doing here?
Yeah.
That's so odd. And
And that guy's like, he clearly has something to say, and he's not saying anything. He's like, just
Right.
listen, just
just
listen.
say it. Like that was what was pissing me off. Just listen to me. I just then spit it out. Like just get it out. Like maybe I'll listen to you. But if you're just gonna keep saying I have something to say and then never say it, leave me alone. Like don't edge me with information. Just give me the information.
I think in general, this movie had some of the worst writing and like line delivery that I have seen in a long time. God damn it. I wrote something down to send to Steph and then I decided not to because it was too weird out of context. But she says something, it's
I have
like
never stopped you.
something mean machine. What was it? Jelly bean, mean machine,
Oh
jelly
yeah,
bean.
it,
When he
they were in
takes,
like a sexy like situation, and that
yes,
everything she said was weird.
it
Everything she said was weird,
was.
and her mom was weird. What was the mom's deal? What was her problem?
She's one of them. And she like, why wasn't she at the
I feel like
society?
it was broken. Maybe it didn't take something
Right.
about it, like didn't just walk around like touching teenagers.
Pulling hair out. That's what she does. She pulls hair out. And it's like, I just didn't know what the function of that was at all. Also, like, just the fact that he can't say a thing when somebody is flashing their underwear at him. Like,
Oh,
he just can't function anymore.
like his brain stopped working just because she opened her legs and she was like in the front row. And I'm like, don't even talk, don't ever tell me that you've never seen girls' underpants before.
You
But also,
couldn't see shit. It's like,
have you met men?
That's
Like, no offense to the gender,
everybody.
but like, yeah, that was ridiculous. I think what confuses me the most is like one, like I guess I would give some props to the special effects of the movie and like all
mhm.
that, really good. But what the fuck is the function of the society? Like, who are these
Yeah.
people? What is it? Like, what was the point of all of this?
Yeah, I think that that's something that we really have to talk about. We really have to try to suss it out because he kept yelling alien scum and they're like, "No, bitch, we're not aliens. We've always been here." So like, what are you? Like, how long has it been a thing? Is it like from the prehistoric slime?
Right? Are they
Like,
slugs? Like, is
Wha-
it like an evolution? And because they had that slug thing going where his mom was picking out slugs from the garden with the gardener. But and then they're also like, well, I'm not your mom and I'm not your real dad. I'm like, so then where the fuck did you get this kid from? Like, whose child is this?
did they squeeze him out and he was just missing the extra chromosomes? When that mom had hand,
Bonded here.
that's what the nightmares would have looked like.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't understand the function of it. And then you've got pretty much everyone in on it. So is the whole town this because clearly his best friend wasn't. And so like how many people in the town is it just the rich people? Because then you've also
Mhm.
got psychologists in on it, you've got cops, you've got doctors willing to just like drug teenagers with really no real reason. But like I'm confused. And then all the random deaths of like people.
We also had the insta love trope that ultimately saved him in the end because she banged him a few times and immediately fell in love with him, even though she's like one of these sinister alternate species. The thing I will say about we've been here always or we've always been here, whatever, is that sounds like Lovecraftian old god, like classic cosmic horror. Um, that fits. The problem is, I feel like we put way too much of like this campaign to be like student body president between him and this nerd guy who's also like one of these rich alien, not aliens. And then like all the boring shit. Like, why didn't we take that out and develop the actual lore a little bit? Because
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. I thought it was going to be something way more to do with those two, but it ended
Yeah.
up being. Well, I'm like, why are we so focused on this like student body race? Like, I don't care. What is going on with this weird fucking family? Can someone please explain what is happening to me? Like,
yes.
explain it to me like I'm 5, because at this point, I don't know what's going on.
Especially because the parents seem to not care about anything he did at
Like
all.
at all. It was so weird. That was the other thing that bothered me. I'm like, they're so doting on their daughter, and they're just like, oh, our son's here. Like, okay.
I thought it was that they wanted to bang her.
Well, they
Yeah.
were banging her, so there's that.
But that's only something that would happen in this situation. That's why everyone's like, this radar was going off, because most of the time, as the eldest daughter, we get treated like shit while our brothers get pampered. So
that is a fair assumption. I was like, yeah, that seems a little off. That's already weird because eldest daughter, I'm
Yeah.
like, my older brother would have been up here. I'm not at the level that this girl is at all. And it's like the guy, whatever his name was, she was like dating, not dating, the one in her closet was like bugging them and stuff. Like, how did you two even get involved? Like, what was the point of that?
It's a good question. He seemed like a weirdo.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
everybody in this fucking movie was a weirdo in their own respect. Even the hot savior girl. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this girl? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like she's trying way too hard to be mysterious and quirky, and it's not coming off in the way that you think, like, at all.
It's one of those movies that I feel like it's probably written by somebody that maybe like never comes out of their house, because like they don't know how humans behave. And I think that they
Right.
tried to pass it off on this is another species, but you still have to have like a movie that works and like dialogue that doesn't make me want to like rip my brain out synapse by synapse. I just wanted it to stop.
It felt like it was 2 hours long. The
Yeah.
most key thing happened, and then it's like back to back weird shit. Like the effects on this thing were crazy. There was a lot of like shoving fists up buttholes and throwing.
That was funny.
I
I
thought it was
didn't hate that.
I thought it was so fun. Like
I did not expect that to happen when
me either, but I was living for
here
it.
comes
Like,
in, or I'm just like, what's he about to do? And then I'm just like, and I wish I had never fucking asked that question. So
Yeah,
now I know.
I could have done without seeing so many middle-aged naked people, but when they're stuck together like Laffy Taffy and I can't actually see like any bits, that's okay with me.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
the weird mouth suckers, like
Well, what was confusing is like only some of them were in this like thing, and then other ones were just watching and pouring champagne all over everybody. I don't know. My thing was like, how do we defeat them? I was like, well, they're slimy. Has anyone tried salt? I feel like that would be my first go-to. Like,
Let me
something
see.
about this screams, get the salt out of the cabinet and see what happens.
I mean, if Supernatural teaches us anything, salt is always the answer.
Honestly, for me, I hate to bring up Doctor Who because of our history as a podcast, but
Mhm.
these creatures reminded me of, I think they're called Autons. They're plastic aliens that they dealt with like in the first Christopher Eccleston episode with
Oh yeah, the
Rose.
little mannequin things.
Yeah, but Caligula. But if that was Caligula.
Yeah.
So it was
It was a lot. I'm not gonna lie. And it just kept coming. You're right. It was so boring at first. And like it didn't help that I was watching it with ads because I'm like, please stop stretching.
yes.
Like, just can we get through this?
The ads frustrated me so badly towards the end because on Plex, it's like 3 minutes of ads every break, and the break is like every 10 minutes. So
Right.
I was like sitting there ripping my hair out. I will not be. I will fucking pirate it next time. Christ's sake, never again.
I'll pay. Like, if it's $3, you're getting my $3. I'm not doing this shit again. It's
Yeah.
This movie's very 80s, but like I feel like it's someone who thought they like a geriatric person wrote this movie thinking they understood what 80s teenagers were like. Because like none of the like you said, none of the dialogue in this movie makes any fucking sense at all. I didn't give a rat's ass about any of these characters. I had
No.
zero investment in any of these people.
No,
Like
and that would have been okay, and I wouldn't even have been mad at that whole geriatric person writing it if it had been shorter, if
yeah.
the that long stretch had been
Mhm.
shorter, because all of this stuff, I like this stuff. It's off the wall, and my mouth kept
Keep it
dropping
'cause
open. Okay, okay. Every other person was tonguing each other down. But the thing that really got me, aside from like the dad going, "You were right, son. I am a butthead." Hey, and he had it between his own butt cheeks. Okay, that's not the worst to me. The worst is the mom coming at him on feet, hands, and the sister comes out her coochie and tries to tongue him. Who thought of that?
I don't know, but that
Yeah,
will
who did
I
it?
like I need soap behind my eyeballs. Like that is gonna haunt me for fucking ever.
It's so funny. It is
It's
so
funny, but it's like,
ridiculous.
why are you still just standing there? Like
Well,
fucking
I
go.
can't say how I would react in that situation at all. Because I'd be well, like, what did I do in my past life that this is my life right? Like, what karma did I get?
I don't know. And then I guess it all boils down at the end. He's like, well, I'll just fight you to live. And it's like that you could have done that this whole time. What? He's in on a game he doesn't even know the rules of. You guys could have at least given him like a fucking leaflet. I don't know.
Well, that's life, isn't it? It doesn't come with a manual. We're just doing our best.
I'm too autistic for that. Give me a leaflet. Like, I might be okay with whatever the end product is if you just tell me what the fuck is going on. Like, in this economy, you think I'm gonna fight you?
Yeah.
Probably not. But like,
Not in this economy.
tell me what I'm supposed to do. Don't spend weeks at a time gaslighting me with a therapist that you hired to gaslight me even more. Like,
No, literally, I knew. Okay, when he brought the first rule of being a human, don't trust anybody. Don't trust anybody. Just don't, okay? As soon as he brought that tape in, I was like, no, you're making a mistake. What
yeah.
would he do anyway, even if he heard it? Like, what would he do? You're barking up the wrong tree, sir. Plan B. Plan B.
So your parents are fucking your sister. Like, what do you want me to do about it?
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, I thought, at first, because this seemed like really, really boring. At first, I thought they were trying to like give her to the who was it? The mayor?
Yeah,
The
Yeah, the guy,
I thought they were trying to like let him groom
it was
her.
the
the
judge.
judge
The
there, yeah.
judge, the mayor.
He
Yeah.
might as well have been in this fucking
The
circle. Like,
governor.
everybody looked up to him way too much. Like he's just the judge. Like
And like you put them next to each other, I could not tell the difference between the judge and the therapist. Like you're not allowed to have two of the same shaped, same balding pattern men in position of power in this movie. Respect.
I was
wait,
very confused too.
I kept losing track, especially when they started getting naked and slime molding and stuff. I'm
Which
like,
naked bald man is this?
right, which man is this? I don't know what's going on. And then also, I think it was just so fucked up. It's like you guys could have got like chains, you could have got ropes, but no, you got the euthanasia dog collar to like drag these motherfuckers around. I'm like, what is this?
Why did you have that handy, my guy?
Is this part of like the BDSM fantasy? Because I'm like not trying to kink shame. If that's what gets y'all going, fine. But like,
But don't use it to kidnap teenagers.
hey, there's that. Maybe consenting adults, but like not children. Like,
Well, also they use it to like force his head into the ground every time. It was very much like bad dog, don't poop in
Right.
the house, rub his nose in the poop. It was
Right,
very
and I'm
much
just
that vibe.
so
Love it.
ridiculous. I'm so confused. And then it was really confusing too when he wakes up in the hospital and then his first instinct is just like, I'm just gonna go home. I'm like, what did they do?
He had like several happy-go-lucky moments that were not fitting of the situation.
Right.
Like when his Jeep was there and his friend was like, "Hello, estúpido. You're in
you.
danger." And he's like, "No, no, it's fine." And he just gets in and goes,
Right?
really? What?
You were just freaking out like 2.5 seconds ago, and now you're like, it's cool. My parents want me home. I'm like, yeah, they're gonna eat you. Like, I don't know. The vibes are not immaculate here, my guy. Like, don't
No.
go to your house. And then the girl is telling you also not to go home. And then what was that about? He walks into her house and just like starts immediately assaulting her.
Yeah. He like
Just slapping her around and shit. And I was like, where did this come from?
I'm forced to conclude that it was both. Strangely, were foot at the Circle K, and he was having a mental situation. Like he was just not. He was,
No, I don't think he started out okay, and whatever was going around him was making it worse. And the way she was still like, well, I want to save him. I'm like, girl, he just came to your house like 10 minutes ago and slapped the shit out of you for like no real good reason.
maybe or maybe they like it because they were all very like violently horny.
true. God, what is the thing? Cosmic horror.
Yeah.
Violently horny so many times, like From Beyond, violently horny.
Oh,
The
so good. From Beyond Terror,
Population season all the time, I guess. Like,
the
I don't
word
know.
population needs to not be used anymore in movies.
Yeah.
They
Why
use
are we
it
doing
many
that?
times. It's done. We're done here. These movies will turn even the nicest lady into lingerie wearing assaultists.
It's just, and then I guess the clump is the sex, but I don't get the ecstasy of that point of it. But whatever, the point maybe it's just like,
I
yeah,
think
why?
the melting together is sexy for them. Like that
it's
probably feels great.
also like eating because when it says I looked at the synopsis because I wanted to know like in words what was going on.
Words.
And they
Explain it to me.
I mean, they didn't do good with words with the script, but they say that the shunting that they're doing, they're absorbing the nutrients. That's what they're doing. They're absorbing that boy's dead, the other one they had. Because they absorbed his nutrients. That's what they're doing.
Sucking them dry and not in the
Shunting.
fun way.
They call it shunting. That's
That
what
is-
they call
That's
it.
like
Oh,
the cosmic
disgusting.
horror version of soaking, or like what?
It's like fucking and eating at the
No.
same time, I think. That's what it seems like. It seems like they're
Fucking and
like
eating.
fucking their sandwich and eating it at the same time.
Oh
It's like putting your dick in a sandwich and then eating the sandwich.
my-
Lestat?
Yes. But your dick is also in the sandwich and is part of the sandwich because this is
And then it's also your best friend's dick and your mom's dick and your dad's dick and like
Mommy,
everyone in
if
the room.
Mommy,
Community
please don't
dick.
listen to this one. Skip this episode.
It was weird. It was weird from the get-go. The vibes were just not good, and I was pissed that I even had to watch this fucking movie. And then by the end of it, I'm like, I need to sue somebody. I don't know who, but I'm gonna figure it out.
I'm sorry I didn't save the post. Just so I could be like, hey, you don't know me, but like months ago, you left this comment on this thread, and I need
just
to know
want to know
why.
why. Yeah,
Right,
I
I
just
just wanna know
know why.
Also, need to know how you found this movie. How many times have you watched it that you thought this was a good recommendation?
That this is a favorite. Because there are some where you could be like, well, I've only seen it once, but I have to recommend it because it like blew my face off. I just am not
Mhm.
mentally equipped to watch it again. It was so because I could see how you could be like, well, if you've never seen any of it, Cosmic Horror movies, because Color Out of Space was like nauseating, but so good. Where you could be like, I didn't expect what happened, and I was so shocked. I have to recommend it because everybody should go through this one time. And I'd be like, okay, heard.
Yeah, like
Yeah, but I don't think that was the reason. And I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe that person's just like sluggy incest. I don't fucking know. Like,
I honestly if you cut the movie in half, I wouldn't be mad.
Yes.
The in
Yeah.
half, as weird as it is, like it's not. I've watched so much weird shit. I would just laugh at it and be done. Like,
right.
but the
Yeah.
fact that you bored me first, that
Mhm.
is what I take seriously. Like now I'm mad. I'm gonna give this movie a one chud because I was fucking bored too long. I fell asleep 3 times and you know
know
how
what?
hard it is to back up on Plex?
Yep. It's because remember we talked about this, the ADHD thing where your brain disengages. If they didn't do the ads, you probably would have been okay.
I mean, even if
Yeah.
you were going to spend a whole bunch of time on exposition in the beginning, at least make it fucking interesting. I still don't
Right.
like these people, and I don't know anything about these people. Like, so you just wasted my time for
It was
nothing.
so much
If you
high
wanted
school.
to just, if you wanted to just get to the weird shit, just get to the weird shit. Like Elle said, I'm fine with that. Let's just go full buck wild into the weird and drop some bullshit exposition and like move on with our lives.
Yes.
It would have been good. I give it 2 chins.
Okay.
You're getting one out of me because I'm on a letter writing campaign after watching this. Like
For that butthole,
the butthole is the reason it gets a one. I'm just like, okay, all right,
You know
I can't
what?
anymore.
I'll change to 1.5 and be the middle ground here because
Okay.
I do feel like I am unreasonably mad because I watched it with ads and I hated the first part. And that is the reason. The end was still really fucking funny. I will give it that.
It was
But
pretty-
I'm
I
just going to need from now on, if somebody recommends this, just be like, skip the first half of the movie, just watch the
yeah, that
Yeah.
would have been a nice warning to have.
any warning about anything in this movie would have been nice to have. Like maybe
No,
don't sit
that's
down
really
with your
not.
chicken nuggets before you press play because
Well, true. Yes.
Actually, though,
fucking grossed out.
I would say for any cosmic horror movie, eat at your own risk because there's potential for anything to
I don't
happen.
know. I usually don't have that much of a weak stomach. I'm a saw girly for crying out loud. So like it's just one of those things.
This is different. Look at
This
it.
is different. I guess I
This
don't
is
watch enough
goopy.
cosmic horror to know the rules of don't eat your dinner while you're watching this shit. But
Eat at your
Lord.
own because I was eating nuts.
Mm,
I was like, this is fine, but I'm also sick. So I
I
was like,
I whipped down 3 Doritos Locos Tacos.
hell yeah.
I was watching the end. I was just like, I don't care. I just don't want to be bored anymore.
I was painting by like halfway, like 10 minutes in. I was like, I'm just gonna work on this painting until something happens. Because like, what the fuck?
I also noticed because I had tried to start this movie before. And I fell asleep and then turned it off. I only got like 10 minutes in the first time. So
Oh,
this
that's
was a DNF. Yeah.
Yeah, because if I didn't know, if I hadn't agreed to do it for the podcast, right, and I just stumbled upon it in the wild, I would not have finished it.
I'd have noped out of it 10 minutes in. Yeah, I'd have been like, nah, this is for
Like,
me.
this is terrible. Like,
This is giving me that one other movie that you made me watch that Wes Craven did that was fucking awful and long and boring and made no sense.
Which one was that?
The culty movie with like the not Amish people, but kind of Amish people, but completely different.
Oh, I think that was something from 31 Days of Horror.
Yeah, it was, but I
oh,
can't.
I blocked those out of my memory after we're done.
Those are hard to
That vibe.
remember.
It was just long and drawn out. We never got to the point. There was that scene with the bitch in the barn running from spiders.
Oh, I
and I'm
know
like,
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
There was cornfields.
yeah,
Yeah, it was like very early.
yeah. It was just
Not good.
no, it was bad, and it was giving me this vibe. It's like you're taking too long to get to the point. Can
No,
you
this
please-
is giving
Is
me
it Deadly Blessing?
yeah, Deadly Blessing. Like
I looked up our 31 Days of Horror.
yeah, it was giving very much hurry the fuck up.
like,
Like,
let's get on with it.
and also there's too many subplots. Like narrow
Oh,
it down to
God,
what I should
yeah.
be focusing on. I'm
Yeah,
confused.
pick one for me. The brain, our brains, like
Mhm.
path, and it needs to be entertaining,
Right.
preferably with snacks.
Yeah, preferably with snacks and less exposition and like less subplots. Like I don't give a fuck about the student council race. Why
Not
are the
you chose the incest picture, I just realized.
Well, I mean, like I didn't want to choose the goop picture because I'm still looking at it. I didn't know what else to pick.
I didn't want to choose any picture, so I didn't. So that's it for this episode. In the meantime, you can find us on the internet at ghostinthemagazine.site. You can find us on Instagram at GITM Podcast. You can find me on Instagram at Nocturnical.
You can find me on Instagram at Steph Spector.
You can find me on Instagram at Sadie P.
Okay, bye.